I saw her again on a rainy afternoon. 10 years had passed, yet I knew her the moment she stepped into the cafe. Some people change with time. Lena Park didn't. Her hair was shorter now, and there were faint lines near her eyes, but the way she looked around the room, careful, thoughtful, was exactly the same. My chest tightened. I turned slightly, so she wouldn't see me. Because Lena Park was the girl I loved when we were young. And I was the man who broke her heart. The worst part? She never even knew I loved her. I chose my family over her. I chose power over her. I chose the life I live now. Head of the Han River Syndicate. A mafia boss. The waitress greeted her. She smiled politely. That same smile I used to think about when I couldn't sleep at night. I told myself for 10 years that leaving her was the right choice. That protecting her meant staying away. But the second I saw her again, every lie I told myself started falling apart. Then she turned. And our eyes met. The world stopped. "Jay," she whispered. And just like that, my past walked straight back into my life. My name is Kong Jae-min. Most people in Seoul know that name. Not because I'm famous. Because they're afraid of it. But Lena only knew me as the quiet boy who walked her home from school. The boy who carried her books. The boy who never said how he felt. She walked toward me slowly. "You disappeared," she said. No anger. That hurt more. I had to. That was the truth. 10 years ago my father died. And I inherited something darker than grief. I inherited control of the largest crime family in the city. At 19. Too young. Too angry. Too trapped. If Lena stayed near me, she would have been destroyed. So I left. No goodbye. No explanation. Just gone. She sat across from me now. "You look different," she said. I almost laughed. Different. If she only knew. "You look the same," I said quietly. She smiled faintly. But something in her eyes told me life hadn't been kind to her either. Then she said something that made my stomach drop. "I wish you had told me why you left." And for the first time in 10 years, I didn't know what to say. Back then, Lena and I were inseparable. We grew up in the same neighborhood. Shared lunches. Shared dreams. Shared silence. She used to talk about leaving Seoul one day. Opening a small bookstore near the ocean. I used to pretend I didn't care. But the truth? Every dream she had felt like my dream too. Then my father was murdered. Everything changed overnight. Men in suits started showing up. Whispering. Arguing. Threatening. I learned something terrifying. My family wasn't rich. We were dangerous. The Han River Syndicate needed a leader. And somehow, that leader became me. I remember the night I made the choice. Lena called me. "Where are you?" "You promised we'd meet." I stared at the phone. If I answered, she would follow me. If she followed me, she would get hurt. So I ignored it. Then I blocked her number. The next morning, I was no longer the boy she knew. I became someone else. Someone colder. Someone feared. But sitting across from her now, I realized something painful. I never stopped being the boy who loved her. "I thought you hated me," Lena said. Her voice was calm, but her fingers twisted around her coffee cup. "I didn't." "Then why disappear?" I watched rain slide down the window beside us. Because telling her the truth meant pulling her into my world again. And my world destroys people. "I had family problems," I said. That was the smallest part of the truth. She studied my face. "You were my best friend." The words landed like a punch. I wanted to tell her everything. About the fights. The blood. The nights I wondered if I'd survive until morning. But I couldn't. "You look tired," she said softly. That surprised me. No one ever noticed things like that about me. Not anymore. "Work," I said. "What do you do?" I hesitated. Then I lied. "Business." She nodded slowly. But something told me she didn't fully believe me. Then she said something that shook me. "I'm glad you're alive." Alive. Not successful. Not rich. Alive. For some reason. That meant more than anything else she could have said. We talked for almost an hour. Mostly about small things. Old classmates. Teachers we used to complain about. Places we used to go. But beneath every sentence was something bigger. 10 years of silence. 10 years of unanswered questions. Finally Lena asked quietly, "Did you ever think about coming back?" "Every day?" But I couldn't say that. Instead I asked something else. "What about you?" She looked down. "I got engaged once." My chest tightened. "What happened?" "It ended." She didn't explain more. And I didn't push. But the sadness in her voice told me enough. Life hadn't been easy for her either. Then her phone buzzed. Her expression changed instantly. Fear. Real fear. I have to go, she said quickly. Is something wrong? She forced a smile. No. Just work. But when she stood, her hands were shaking. And when she walked outside, a black car across the street started its engine. My instincts sharpened. 10 years in my world teaches you one thing. You learn when danger is close. And something about that moment felt very wrong. I stepped outside just as the car door opened. 2 men got out. Big, cold faces. Not random. They walked straight toward Lena. She froze. Mississippi Park, one said. You need to come with us. My stomach dropped. She backed away. I told your boss I need more time. Boss. Loan sharks. I recognized the type instantly. The taller man grabbed her arm. That was the moment I stopped thinking. Let her go. Both men turned. One of them laughed. Mind your business. I walked closer. Slowly. Carefully. Because once violence starts, it doesn't stop quickly. She owes money, the man said. That doesn't involve you. He was wrong. It involved me the second they touched her. I grabbed his wrist. Not hard, but hard enough. His expression changed. Who do you think you are? I answered calmly. Kong Jae-min. Silence fell instantly. Both men went pale. They released Lena immediately. Sir, we didn't know. Of course they didn't. Most people never expect the devil to be standing next to them. The men bowed slightly and left within seconds. Lena stared at me, confused. What just happened? I rubbed the back of my neck. Nothing about this situation was simple anymore. Debt collectors, I said. How did they know you? They know everyone. That wasn't entirely a lie, but it wasn't the truth either. Her eyes narrowed. Jay, what kind of business are you in? I could still lie. I should lie. But something inside me was tired of hiding from her. The kind that scares people. She went quiet. Not scared. Just thinking. You're involved with criminals, she said slowly. I smiled slightly. Something like that. She should have walked away. Any smart person would. Instead, she said something unexpected. You protected me. That simple sentence made my chest feel strange. Because the truth was, I would always protect her. Even if she hated me. Even if she never forgave me. Even if it destroyed everything I built. And deep down, I knew something dangerous had already started. Seeing her again wasn't coincidence. It was the beginning of something. Something big. Something messy. Something that would change both our lives. Again, we sat back down inside the cafe. This time the air between us felt different. More honest. So, Lena said slowly. You're scary now. I laughed quietly. That's one way to say it. You're in danger, aren't you? I didn't answer. Which was answer enough. She sighed. You should have told me. I was trying to protect you. That wasn't protection. Her voice shook slightly. That was abandonment. She wasn't wrong. And hearing it out loud made something twist inside me. I thought it was the only choice. Did you ever think about what it did to me? No. Because thinking about that would have broken me. So I pushed it away for 10 years. I'm sorry, I said quietly. The words felt small. Too small. But they were real. She looked at me for a long moment. Then something softened in her eyes. I waited for you, you know. That hurt more than anger ever could. Why? Because I thought you loved me too. My heart stopped. Because she was right. And I had been too afraid to say it. The rain got heavier outside. Inside the cafe, the world felt very small. Do you still? Lena asked quietly. My throat tightened. 10 years of silence sitting between us. 10 years of regret. I never stopped. The words surprised even me. But once they were out, they felt right. She looked down at the table. I hated you for a long time. I deserved that. I tried to move on. Did it work? She shook her head slightly. Not really. That shouldn't have made me happy. But it did. And that scared me. Because getting close to her again meant pulling her toward danger. My world was violent. Ruthless. People died in it. And Lena was soft in ways my life didn't allow. You shouldn't see me again, I said quietly. Her head snapped up. You're doing it again. What? Deciding what's best for me. She leaned forward. I'm not a child, Jay. I know. Then stop pushing me away. If she knew everything, she might run. Or worse, she might stay. And that possibility terrified me more than anything else. That night I couldn't sleep. Which wasn't unusual. But the reason was, Lena. My phone buzzed. My second in command. Minho. You disappeared today, he said. I was busy. With a woman. News travels fast in my world. You had someone followed, I guessed. Of course. I sighed. Don't touch her. Is she important? I stared out at the Seoul skyline. Yes. A pause. That's dangerous. I know. Minho lowered his voice. There's another problem. Of course there was. There's a rival group moving into our territory. Who? The CO cartel. That wasn't good. Violent. Unpredictable. If they think you're distracted. I'm not. But even as I said it, I knew something had changed. Seeing Lena again cracked open parts of me I buried years ago. And men like CO Taejin were exactly the kind who used weakness. I'll handle it, I said. But deep down, I had a feeling my past and my present were about to collide. And when that happens, people get hurt. 2 days later, Lena called me. I stared at my phone for a long time before answering. Hello. Are you avoiding me? Yes. At least you're honest. I smiled despite myself. Why are you calling? Silence. Then she said quietly, I lost my job. That got my full attention. What happened? My boss wanted money I couldn't pay. Loan sharks again. Anger rose slowly in my chest. Where are you? Does it matter? Yes. Another pause. Then she told me. I arrived 15 minutes later. She was sitting on a bench outside a small grocery store, looking smaller than I remembered. Life had worn her down. You shouldn't be here, she said. You called. I didn't ask for help. You didn't have to. She shook her head. You always do this. What? Show up like a hero. I leaned against the wall beside her. I'm not a hero. I know. Then she looked at me. Really looked. Why do you still care about me? The answer was simple. Because I never stopped loving you. But saying that out loud still felt dangerous. Instead of answering, I handed her an envelope. What's this? Something to help. She opened it. Then her eyes widened. This is too much. It's nothing to me. That's exactly the problem. She pushed it back toward me. I don't want charity. It's not charity. What is it then? I hesitated. An apology. She stared at the money again. Then at me. You can't fix 10 years with cash. I know. Then stop trying. That stung. But she wasn't wrong. Then tell me how to help. She looked exhausted. Just stop disappearing. That was harder than she realized. Because disappearing had kept her alive before. But maybe things were different now. Maybe I was strong enough to protect her this time. Okay, I said quietly. She studied my face like she was searching for something. Okay, she repeated. For the first time in years. It felt like I had a second chance. And second chances are dangerous things. Because they make you hope. Hope didn't last long. 3 nights later, my warehouse was attacked. Gunshots echoed through the building. Men shouting. Glass breaking. The CO cartel moved faster than expected. By the time the fight ended, 2 of my men were injured. 1 dead. I stood in the middle of the chaos, feeling cold anger. Boss, Minho said quietly. They sent a message. He handed me a phone. A photo. My blood froze. It was Lena. Someone had taken a picture of her walking home. CO Taejin knew. Or at least suspected. And that meant she was already in danger. Find out how they got this, I said. My voice was calm. Too calm. Minho nodded. We will. But I was already grabbing my coat. Where are you going? To fix my mistake. Because letting Lena back into my life had just painted a target on her back. And if anything happened to her because of me, I would burn the entire city to the ground. I found Lena outside her apartment building. She looked surprised. You again? Pack a bag. What? You're not staying here tonight. Her expression changed. What's going on? Just trust me. That was a big thing to ask after 10 years of lies. But after a moment, she nodded. Inside her small apartment, she packed quietly. You're scaring me, she admitted. I'm trying not to. Is someone after you? Yes. And now me. Silence. She sighed. I knew this would happen. You can still walk away. She stopped packing. Then she said something that shocked me. I already tried that once. What? 10 years ago. Her eyes met mine. I'm tired of running from you. My chest tightened again. Lena, just tell me the truth this time. So I did. About the syndicate. About the danger. About the enemies. When I finished, the room was very quiet. Then she said softly, You're an idiot. That's your response. I asked. She crossed her arms. You pushed me away for 10 years to protect me. Yes. And now I'm in danger anyway. Yes. So your plan failed. I almost laughed. You're not wrong. She sighed. But I'm still here. Why? Her answer came quickly. Because I loved you then. My heart pounded. And now? I asked. She didn't answer immediately. That depends on what you do next. Fair enough. We're going somewhere safe, I said. Where? My place. Her eyes widened. The Mafia boss mansion? Penthouse. That's worse. Despite the situation, she smiled slightly. And that small moment of normal life felt strange. Like stepping back into the past. But the danger outside those walls was very real. And Seo Tae-jin wasn't known for mercy. If he thought Lena mattered to me, he would use her, which meant protecting her wasn't optional anymore. It was war. My penthouse overlooked the entire city. Lena stood near the window staring at the lights. You live like a villain in a movie, she said. I've heard worse. Do you ever get tired of this life? Every day? But I couldn't admit that easily. It's complicated. She turned. You look lonely. That surprised me again. Most people saw power, fear, control. She saw loneliness. You always notice things, I said. That's because I cared. Past tense. That word hurt. But before I could respond, my phone rang. Minho. We found who leaked the photo. Who? A cop. That wasn't good. Corrupt police working with the CO cartel meant things were escalating. Handle it, I said. Already did. I hung up. Lena looked uneasy. Sometimes I forget what you do. I know. And sometimes I remember very quickly. Silence filled the room again. Then she said quietly, I'm still here though. That meant more than she probably understood. Because most people ran from monsters. But Lena, she always walked toward the truth. Even when it was dangerous. The attack came 2 nights later. Explosions shook the lower floors of the building. Alarms screamed. Men shouting through radios. Seo Tae-jin didn't waste time. Stay here, I told Lena. Absolutely not. You'll be safer. I'm not hiding. She grabbed my arm. Just come back alive. I nodded once, then stepped into the war. Gunfire echoed through the hallway. My men pushed back hard. But Seo's group had numbers. And desperation. 15 minutes later, it was over. Sirens in the distance. Broken glass everywhere. Minho approached slowly. We captured one. Where is he? Garage. I walked down with anger burning quietly inside me. The man looked terrified. Message from Seo, he said quickly. What message? He said next time he takes the girl. Cold silence filled the room. That was the moment this stopped being business. And became personal. Very personal. When I returned upstairs, Lena was pacing. You're bleeding. Not mine. That didn't comfort her. Is it over? For tonight. She looked at me carefully. This is my fault, isn't it? No. If I wasn't here, they'd still come. That was true. But not the whole truth. She walked closer. You're lying again. I sighed. They're using you to get to me. Her expression hardened. Then let them try. You don't understand how dangerous that is. I understand enough. She took a deep breath. I'm not leaving. Lena, stop deciding for me. That sentence again. The same one from years ago. And maybe she was right. Maybe protecting someone didn't mean controlling them. Maybe it meant standing beside them. Even when it was terrifying. You're stubborn, I said. She smiled slightly. You liked that about me once. She wasn't wrong. I still did. Probably always would. The next morning I made a decision. A dangerous one. If Seo Tae-jin wanted war, I would end it quickly. Minho studied the plan. High risk. I know. And if it fails? It won't. Confidence was important in my world. Even when you were lying to yourself. Where's Lena? He asked. Sleeping. She's brave. She's stubborn. He smirked. Same thing. Maybe. But bravery like hers was rare. And it reminded me of the person I used to be. Before power. Before violence. Before I chose the wrong life. Boss, Minho said quietly. You care about her. Yes. That makes you vulnerable. I know. But sometimes, he added, that's not a weakness. Maybe he was right. Or maybe we were all about to regret everything. Either way, the next move would decide everything. That night we went after Seo. His headquarters was an old factory near the river. Dark, guarded, violent, perfect for men like us. The fight was brutal, fast. When it ended, Seo Tae-jin was on his knees in front of me. You started this, I said. He laughed weakly. No. You did when you fell in love. My jaw tightened. You threatened someone under my protection. That girl. He shook his head. You were better before her. Maybe. But being better meant being colder. More empty. And I was tired of that. This ends tonight, I said. He studied me. Then finally nodded. The war was over. But as I walked away, I realized something important. I didn't feel stronger. I felt relieved. And that scared me. Because it meant something inside me was changing. Something Lena had awakened. Something human. When I got back to the penthouse, Lena was awake. You're alive. Yes. She hugged me suddenly. Tight. Warm. Real. For a moment I forgot everything else. The violence. The crime. The life I built. All that mattered was the girl in my arms. Is it over? She asked. Yes. She pulled back slightly. Then looked straight at me. I need to ask something. Okay. If you had to choose again. My stomach dropped. Between me and this life. 10 years ago, I already made that choice. And it destroyed us both. So this time, I didn't hesitate. I'd choose you. Her eyes filled slightly. You're late. I know. But I'm here now. Silence. Then she smiled softly. That's a start. Life didn't magically become normal after that. It never could. But things shifted. The city grew quieter. Enemies stepped back. And for the first time in years, my apartment felt less like a fortress. Lena started cooking in my kitchen, criticizing my furniture, opening windows I usually kept closed. Small changes. Human changes. You live like a robot, she told me one morning. I live carefully. Same thing. She handed me coffee, then added quietly, You're not as scary as you think. That made me laugh. Ask the rest of Seoul. I'm not the rest of Seoul. No, she never was. And that was exactly why she mattered so much. Weeks passed. Then one evening Lena said something unexpected. I found a building. For what? A bookstore. My heart paused. The dream. She nodded. You remembered. Of course I remembered. I remembered everything about her. Do it, I said. Really? Yes. But what about your world? My world can survive a bookstore. She smiled slowly. You've changed. Maybe. Or maybe I was finally becoming the person I was supposed to be. The one I buried years ago. Because power without someone to share life with was just another kind of prison. And I was tired of prisons. Opening day was small. Quiet. Perfect. A little bookstore near the river. Exactly like she imagined when we were kids. I stood in the corner watching her talk to customers. Laughing. Alive. Happy. That sight meant more than any territory or power I ever gained. You're staring, she whispered later. Just thinking. About how badly I messed up 10 years ago. She squeezed my hand. Maybe. Then she added softly. But maybe we needed those years to become who we are now. Maybe she was right. Or maybe she was just kinder than I deserved. Either way, standing there beside her felt like the right place. Finally, sometimes people ask if I regret my choices. The truth? Every day? Because 10 years is a long time to lose. But regret also teaches you something. It teaches you what matters. And who matters? That night, Lena and I stood on the bookstore balcony watching the city lights. Do you ever think about the past? She asked. Yes. And I chose wrong. She leaned against my shoulder. But you're choosing differently now. I wrapped an arm around her. For the first time in years, the future didn't feel like something dark. It felt open, messy, real. And maybe that was enough. Because the boy who loved Lena Park never disappeared. He was just buried under a life he didn't want. Now he finally had a chance to live again. And this time, I wasn't letting her go.